Dr. Siebert, I thank you for your testimony and your perspectives on Public Law 566. In your view, what do you think are the most helpful improvements that Congress could provide to the small watershed program and rehab program?
Mr. Chairman, I would direct you.
Your microphone, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Doctor.
I pulled a Jimmy there, sorry.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to True Voice. I'm Andrew, and today we need to talk about this heated exchange in Congress where Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was dragged through the mud by a Republican lawmaker. And let me tell you, this wasn't about facts. This was about political theater, fear-mongering, and the same tired talking points we've heard from the MAGA crowd for years.
I would direct you to our Farm Bill priorities that you are familiar with, not the least of which is the opportunity for NRCS to address remedial and repair work on aging structures that exceed the level for operation and maintenance for which the sponsors are responsible, but fall short of full rehabilitation. There's a body of work there that needs to be addressed, and it will require Congress pointing NRCS to that work for that to happen.
Last year's committee passed a Farm Bill contained provisions to specifically authorize cost share for remedial actions on PL 566. These actions would include the deterioration of a component of a structure faster than expected, or structural damage caused by weather or storm or weather event. So drilling in on this further, Dr. Siebert, in your view, how might such a change improve the administration of the program? We're getting down to the nuts and bolts here.
This body of work carries an element of risk, and the action that the policies that were put forth in that version of the Farm Bill would buy down that risk, which protects both the sponsors of the project as well as USDA and perhaps most importantly, those living downstream from this flood protection.
Just one more moment, Dr. Siebert. In the nature of the upstream flood control, remind our friends that these are smaller interlocking dams, most of which hold no water, simply catch and then meter out at a safe rate these rainfalls. Just the general concept.
Yes, these small watershed structures are built in a series. Many times the head of the watershed area will have 2-3 of these structures on it that catch the rainfall, catch the water, and then release it over a period of 7 to 14 days, rather than uncontrolled release from rain events in the upstream reaches of the watershed that send a flash flood or extensive flooding in the main tributaries.
President Boehning, I appreciate your comments and your testimony about the need to simplify programs and reduce paperwork. In recent farm bills, particularly the 2014 Farm Bill, Congress was successful in program consolidation and simplification. Since Congress has at times tended to create similar or overlapping programs, sub-programs within larger programs, and regional carve-outs, it seems to me that such simplification must be necessary to restore clarity and update the statute. What are your thoughts about recent efforts in Congress to streamline and simplify programs?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, the short answer there is we're very appreciative of that. That's one of the things I kind of said in my testimony. What farmers and ranchers face, remember, we want to farm and ranch, and that's what we do. And when things can be simplified, when we walk into the USDA offices, it is much appreciated. So as we work through this, we appreciate keep that thought in mind.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe, having chaired this subcommittee some time ago, how far we've really come. The dramatic increases in the conservation spending in the 2002 program, and now this effort to take one-time money, what remains of it, and turn it into a permanent increase in baseline to work from. I think all of us in the conservation movement together, all of you and all of your supporters back home, we've had amazing success considering the ever-increasing challenges of legislating in the modern world. With that, I thank all of you for answering my questions and your participation in these programs, and I turn to my colleague, the distinguished ranking member from Hawaii, for 5 minutes for questions.
So here we go again. They accuse Governor Walz of lying because Minnesota's Attorney General, Keith Ellison, doesn't want to weaponize state law enforcement to play ISIS political games. Newsflash, that's called respecting federalism and protecting state resources. Minnesota isn't blocking federal immigration law. They're simply not turning local cops into immigration agents. That's a huge difference. And then they pull out the laundry list: healthcare, food assistance, college tuition, driver's licenses, and claim Minnesota is some magnet for immigrants. You know what? If Minnesota is ranking #1 in healthcare and 3rd in education, that's something to be proud of. It means they're taking care of their people. What Republicans are really mad about is that progressive policies actually work. Now, they attack Walz for once comparing ISIS tactics to the Gestapo. Was it a strong statement? Absolutely. But let's be real. When law enforcement covers their faces, when they raid communities without transparency, when they tear families apart, that does look authoritarian. Walz is saying we need due process and accountability, not secret police tactics. Oh, and then they bring up that old Anderson Cooper clip where Walz joked about building a ladder factory to climb over Trump's wall. Guess what? He was right. Walls don't work. That whole Build the Wall slogan was just a billion-dollar scam on taxpayers. They even got petty, quoting Walz joking on Gavin Newsom's podcast that he could kick MAGA's ass and scare them because he can fix a truck. Folks, this is what the GOP is reduced to: crying about jokes while ignoring real issues like wages, healthcare, and climate. And then comes the free speech attack. They accuse Walz of being anti-First Amendment because he doesn't think hate speech that incites violence should be protected. That's not radical. That's common sense. Hate speech isn't free speech when it leads to people getting hurt. At the end of the day, this wasn't about border security or free speech. This was about a Republican lawmaker trying to score cheap points by painting Walz as a radical. But the reality is Governor Walz is fighting for healthcare, education, fairness, and accountability. That's what real patriotism looks like. So the next time you hear Republicans screaming about sanctuary states or radical left agendas, remember this: they're terrified of progressive success. Because when people see that good governance actually works, they know MAGA politics is nothing but noise. This has been Andrew with True Voice. If you believe in facts, fairness, and a better America, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep pushing back against the lies. See you next time.